is part man, part machine, all cop, while also being the future of law enforcement.
There's a new guy in town. His name's RoboCop.
I fucking love that guy!
Back in the late 70s, early 80s, movies like Star Wars really pushed the boundaries of how they can incorporate robotic characters. Then the original Terminator came out in 1984, and that just made robots even cooler, bringing them back into popular culture. But Hollywood just didn't have the equivalent of a robot hero yet. The year 1987 delivered us RoboCop, inspired by Terminator and served with a side of justice. It even went as far as using the original Terminator theme song in the trailer.
You're dead! We killed you!
His memory's admissible as evidence.
You're gonna have to kill it.
RoboCop, the future of law enforcement.
And the Terminator connections don't just end there. I grew up seeing RoboCop vs. Terminator video games popping up on home consoles, and even comic books, which had some outstanding artwork. And if you followed those comic books, they even revealed that the technology that created RoboCop was crucial in the development of Skynet. It was awesome, and to this day, I still wish that RoboCop vs. Terminator had become a full movie. I can't even count how many times I saw RoboCop as a kid and borrowed it repeatedly on VHS from my local library, and he easily became one of my favorite action heroes. The movie takes place in a near-futuristic version of Detroit, where crime is out of control, and the police force is run by the Omni Consumer Products Corporation, also known as OCP. Their goal is to wipe out all crime and build a utopian city over Old Detroit called Delta City.
Old Detroit has a cancer. The cancer is crime, and it must be cut out before we employ the 2 million workers that will breathe life into this city again.
Yes.
But the police force is constantly suffering losses, and the end of crime is nowhere near sight. And how do they plan on wiping out all crime, you ask? By building badass robots to patrol the streets. The Ed 209 enforcement droid. This thing looks so cool, especially for a movie made in 1987 when there really wasn't any good CG readily available. And for some reason, they gave it a lion growl sound, which makes no sense to me. This monster might look imposing, but under the hood, it was cheaply manufactured. It can't even walk up and down staircases. If confronted by one, it'll just tumble down, then squeal like a pig when it can't get up. On top of that, it fails miserably during its first presentation.
Please put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
And OCP cares about its employees less than a call center does.
I'm very disappointed. Your temporary setback could cost us $50 million in interest payments alone.
Back in the Detroit City Police Department, the police need as much help as they can get. Luckily, they do get an officer transferred from another police department called Alex Murphy, who can spin his gun around like a cowboy from the Wild West. And he gets partnered up with Officer Ann Lewis, who's tough as nails. And is easily distracted by penis.
Mind if I zip this up?
They're both under the command of Sergeant Reed, who runs the police department with a snarky attitude, and I love this character. He reminds me so much of Sergeant Apone from Aliens. A tough leader who doesn't take any crap.
We're police officers, and police officers don't strike.
And he's hilarious. Every scene he's in, he acts like he's just completely fed up with his job.
Your client's a scumbag, you're a scumbag, and scumbags see the judge on Monday morning. Not now, EJ, get a cup of coffee.
Oh, sorry.
This is bullshit!
This guy's a serious asshole.
Murphy and Lewis go on patrol together and run into a villain with one of the least threatening names in movie history. His name is Clarence. Clarence Bodeker, Red from That 70s Show. And he surrounds himself with a fairly colorful group of henchmen. Nash has an excellent smile, loves partying it up at nightclubs, and is stupid enough to kick RoboCop in the nuts.
Let's talk.
Then later explodes.
I got him, Clarence! I got him!
Antonowski is just an all-around bad person that likes to bully people.
You a college boy or something? Think you could outsmart a bullet?
And he ends up crashing into toxic waste and comes out looking like something out of the Toxic Avenger. And Johnson. He has quite possibly the most annoying laugh in movie history.
Hey, wait up! Yo, Clarence, what do you think, buddy?
Thankfully, he does get what's coming to him. And clearly Clarence doesn't care about any of his employees either.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Clarence, no!
When Murphy and Lewis first meet Clarence and his crew, they get in a gun battle and try to chase them down, and make the mistake of not waiting for backup, and Officer Murphy pays for it drastically. This scene is so brutal, but it makes you feel so bad for him because he's completely helpless.
Okay, let's get out of here.
Murphy's body gets taken and he gets revived and reassembled as the super cybernetic police officer, RoboCop. His new body is made from titanium and laminated with Kevlar, making him completely bulletproof. He can even access computers in a fashion similar to the lovable R2-D2.
Hurry!
And I love the noise he makes when he walks. I think it's great, too, that they decided to keep him so mysterious before revealing him. You don't see him right away. We see his point of view while he's being constructed and activated.
Oh! God. It's got a hell of a grip. You're gonna be a bad motherfucker.
Then we get a quick glimpse as he passes by a monitor. His entire body has been replaced with cybernetics too, so he doesn't eat regular food. He eats this nasty applesauce looking paste that he needs to keep functioning.
Tastes like baby food. Knock yourself out.
All the cops are bewildered when they see this hulking robot walk by, and when he's in the shooting range, we get a glimpse of his iconic Auto 9 pistol that shoots 3-round bursts. Fun fact here, if you play Far Cry Blood Dragon, you can actually use a pistol inspired by the one from RoboCop. It's called the AJM-9. Get it? The Alex J. Murphy. One of the greatest Easter eggs of all time. And no RoboCop reveal would be complete without a montage of him going on patrol, which introduced us to an epic musical theme that sounds like it was created out of pure justice.
Thank you.
The first crime he runs into is a robbery in progress, and it's hilarious how the robber reacts the second he sees RoboCop.
Drop the gun. You are under arrest.
Then he clotheslines him in a move right out of WrestleMania. In fact, RoboCop did have a stint in professional wrestling.
He has been tased by the Horseman, but here comes RoboCop, Bob.
But look at RoboCop now as he's approaching.
He is not.
They're backing away from him.
He's not intimidated, Bob. RoboCop going right to the cage. This deal.
Be a bucket of balls so we get down with you.
Oh gosh almighty! He's pulling that door right off the hinges.
It does not get much more epic than this, folks.
RoboCop! And there you want a piece of him, Horseman.
Look at Ole and Arn and Big Sid back up.
Then he runs into a woman getting sexually assaulted. And what happens when you sexually assault an innocent woman in front of RoboCop?
He's gonna kill her, man! He's gonna kill her!
Oh! As a man, I can't even imagine what that would feel like. Getting shot in the balls with pinpoint accuracy has to be one of the worst things that someone could do to another human being. And then RoboCop gives her some hilarious words of comfort.
Madam, you have suffered an emotional shock. I will notify a rape crisis center.
This movie does not take itself seriously at all, and that's part of what makes it so fun to watch. It's full of these tongue-in-cheek humorous moments.
Excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble.
Throughout the entire movie, we're shown these random news segments showing us what's going on in this world of the near future. And they also play some hilarious commercials that are geniusly over-exaggerated to make them as ridiculous as possible.
Pakistan is threatening my border!
That's it, Buster. No more military aid.
Nuke 'em. Get them before they get you. Another quality home game from Butler Brothers.
Continuing on patrol, RoboCop also runs into a hostage situation involving a crazed city councilman that has some ridiculous demands.
And I want a new car! And I want the city to pay for it all!
What kind of car, Miller?
Something with reclining leather seats that goes really fast and gets really shitty gas mileage! Lieutenant, don't jerk me off! But people jerk me off, and I kill them!
But of course, RoboCop handles the situation. He pulls the guy through a solid wall and sends him flying through a glass window with one punch. I noticed too that this movie has a ton of breaking glass moments.
Fuck you! What is this shit?
Eventually, RoboCop starts remembering his past as a normal human, and he starts having some flashbacks of Clarence and his gang killing him, so he starts tracking down all of his henchmen one by one in order to find him. He even goes back to his old house, but sadly, his family has already packed up and moved on with their lives.
Functional space with a touch of elegance. Hey, have you thought it all over? Why not make me an offer?
RoboCop tracks Clarence to a warehouse, and he kicks everyone's ass with ease. If they were smart, they would probably aim for his completely exposed mouth.
Book him.
Just give me my fucking phone call.
But it turns out that Dick Jones, one of the bigwigs at OCP, is in cahoots with Clarence, and RoboCop goes to arrest him. But unfortunately, he had a secret directive implanted in his head that prevents him from arresting an employee of the company. So in comes Ed 209 for his big showdown with RoboCop. I did notice here that you can see the string when the rocket is fired. I'll slow it down. It's right there. You can see the string pulling this rocket. And also in this scene, you can see right through the top of RoboCop's head for some reason. It's like he's see-through. And that's the unfortunate side of watching old movies on high-definition Blu-ray. You can see everything that you were not meant to see. But after escaping the fight, Dick Jones calls the police SWAT team, and they light up RoboCop. I'm not gonna lie, as a kid, I cried during this scene. He was already shot up once, and now that he's a machine, it's happening all over again. And he's just struggling to escape. They're a bunch of dicks. But Officer Lewis does come in for the rescue and helps him escape. And this is the first time you see him with his face exposed. The makeup job looks fantastic. And they made it believable that his face was kind of stretched over this robotic body. And now that RoboCop knows that Dick Jones is the real villain, he panics and sends Clarence after him with a huge gun to eliminate him.
Watch this.
Wait a minute, wait, Clarence!
The city falls into complete chaos as cops go on strike, and crime is just everywhere. Oh, and I love this crazy dude on the news, too.
Except there ain't nothing free, because there's no guarantees, you know? You're on your own. There's a lot of jungle.
In the final battle against Bodeker, RoboCop breaks through his programming and decides to unleash final justice on him, making him crap his pants.
I give up.
I'm not arresting you anymore.
Come on, man. Come on now, you're making me nervous. Come on, you can't do this. Come on now. Don't mess around.
But he gets stuck under a bunch of rubble, and Clarence beats down on him, only to have RoboCop's spiky USB drive go through his neck with blood squirting all over him. This movie is incredibly violent.
Murphy, I'm a mess.
They'll fix you. They fix everything.
And what do you do with a clearly violent R-rated movie? You make a children's cartoon series.
After being mortally wounded in the line of duty, Officer Murphy is outfitted by OCP with bulletproof titanium robotic parts and with computer-enhanced motor and sensory capabilities. He has become the ultimate super cop, RoboCop.
These were special times when an R-rated movie could be marketed to children. Now, I have absolutely no problem with this. I grew up playing Mortal Kombat and watching horror movies, so I loved it. But can you imagine if this happened today? I can't even count how many offended people would come out of the bushes and protest it. And RoboCop wasn't the only example. We also had Mortal Kombat, the animated series, and even a Rambo animated series. This is literally the only time in history when they could have gotten away with marketing this stuff to kids. Well done. Well done. But RoboCop's mission isn't done yet. With evidence in hand, he goes to arrest Dick Jones and runs once again into Ed 209, but this time, he is not taking any shit. Once he shows the board the evidence against Dick Jones, he goes crazy and starts taking hostages. Then he gets fired, so his employment is no longer protecting him against justice.
Dick, you're fired!
Thank you.
And look at him falling too. This looks so bizarre. Why are his arms that long? He doesn't even look human. Oh, and when he falls to his death, I love this guy's face. He looks like he just witnessed the greatest event in human history. RoboCop is a legendary action movie. But for an action movie to stand the test of time, it needs to have excellent one-liners that can be quoted for years to come. And this movie has got plenty of them.
Your move, creep. Thank you for your cooperation. Good night. Come quietly or there will be trouble.
I'll buy that for $1.
On a deeper level, you can argue that the movie has a deeper message about what it means to be human and a warning about corporate greed or the cost of militarizing the police. It's one of those rare movies that just can't be repeated. and it left a lasting legacy. It has spawned 2 animated series, a live action series, toys, comic books of its own, video games, and even a reboot that wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. If you've never seen it, you're doing yourself a severe injustice. Leave me your thoughts down below, and remember to like, subscribe, sign up for notifications, and follow me on social media. This is Fabian. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.